So Jeff, tell me, 11 years ago when you were sitting at your kitchen table coming up with the concept of Kensington Tours, did you ever see yourself moving into the retail side of the business?
Honestly, no. Not for the first 3 or 4 years. In fact, we didn't pay any commissions during that period of time. But what we realized is that the travel agent is such an integral part of travel. And people didn't really realize when they were planning their trips the questions that they needed to ask until they started talking with a professional. And so over the next number of years, as we truly began to understand how important it is to have a travel agent, we actually made a decision to start buying travel agencies. So TravelEdge actually was born about 4 years later in early 2010 or 2011 as we started acquiring travel agencies. So we bought 12 agencies over 4 or 5 years, and the rest has been growth. And today, TravelEdge is the largest virtuoso agency in the world.
Quite the claim to fame. And I'm sure the listeners, viewers, I should say, are very keen to hear more about the one sentence you said earlier, which is that you realized how important the travel agent is. Talk to us a little bit more about that.
Well, when I was doing research on these agencies, I came across a few heartbreaking stories. I remember a woman who owned an agency down in Florida, and I looked at her income statement. She wanted to sell her agency, and she was making a loss every year. And she said, no, my husband writes a check and covers the cost of the agency. And I said, well, why are you in this business in the first place? And she said, well, because I love travel, and I love sending people out on trips, and I love it when they come back and their lives have been changed and they have such great memories. So for me, it was the passion and the expertise of the people that was out there, and we decided very early on that we would take our technology and we would bring it to retail agents to try to help them transform how they did their business. So the goal of TravelEdge is actually, over the last 5 years or so, we've built a tremendous piece of technology called ADX, and the goal is for us to double the margins of people working in travel. And doubling your margins would truly transform travel. Candidly, it's such an impoverished business right now. And we're quite excited because we believe we're finally there.
Where do you see the curve in terms of travel agent usage by consumers? We see a lot of research, especially US research, because Canada is a bit poor on that side, but about consumers returning, seeing that spending hours and hours on the web is not a good use of their time and they'd rather use a professional. So do you see it flattening out? Do you see a growth? Where do you see the business in 5-10 years?
Sure. So we actually see a U-shape in the industry, and so with boomers, there's a high propensity to use a travel agent. With Gen Xers, there's a lower propensity, and actually millennials use travel advisors at about the same rate as a baby boomer does. So there's this U-shaped curve, and the way I would explain it is the boomers grew up with advisors. The Gen Xers felt like the internet was the next best thing and suddenly they could do it all themselves. But for millennials, the internet is like electricity or any other thing. Why wouldn't you go talk to a travel professional is their mindset. So, and then across all of that, we see the overall usage of agents increasing as people first went away to the online travel agencies, and now you see them consolidating and people coming back. So our view of the travel agent, the retail travel agent industry is actually that it's about to go through a real renaissance. So our feel is that with the right tools and the right expertise, that travel agents are very much and just as important as a lawyer or as an accountant or any other professional advisor for people who want some advice on how best to use their time and how best to use their resources.
What's next? Touring, guided touring, technology, retail, all of course combined to some degree. What's next on the agenda?
Well, what's next on the agenda for us is launching our first true brand new luxury travel store, I guess if you could call it. We're in the process of designing a brand new style travel agency that would look and feel like a Four Seasons or like a Louis Vuitton store, or it would emote true luxury. When customers come into that store, they would feel like it's truly a physical manifestation of a luxury brand. And the people in that store would have an ability to meet all of their travel needs with a powerful platform, which is our ADX platform, but also earn the margins that would be appropriate for their skills and for a luxury brand. So we've talked for the last 10 years about how travel should be transformed, and frankly, we're just going to go out there now and build the stores and physically show people.
We're looking forward to seeing those. Thanks very much. Congratulations on all the growth, and we'll keep following you for the next 5-10 years.
Great. Thanks very much.